Now, I'll invite you to get in a comfortable position for what I call a sermonette, a short sermon about living into our values. And I will go off shared screen for our spoken words. Many preachers find the stewardship kickoff sermon the most challenging of the year. I do. Christmas and Easter, those are easier for me. We ministers struggle with finding, oh my gosh, a new, exciting, non-threatening, appealing message to find that delicate balance, that balance between begging and inspiring, a balance between pleading and challenging, but between talking what is uncomfortable to discuss and discussing what must be talked about, between comforting the afflicted and afflicting the comfortable. This is my 8th year of annual stewardship sermon with you. And during this week in preparation for it, I was struggling to find that balanced message. So I surrendered, and what I did was I just randomly grabbed a book from my bookcase. And then I just opened it up and to see what the muses would reveal to me. If you've never done this, I really highly recommend it. It's a way for magic to come into your life. There it was. There was my message. The page revealed to me was from this small book called The Almost Church by Michael Durrell. And the muses did not give me an answer, but provided me a question right at the top of the page. Does your church have a soul? I was blown away. Does your church have a soul? Now, after some reflection, my answer was yes. As a church, we have a soul. And I believe every church has a soul. But the question is not satisfied with a yes or no answer, for the depth of the inquiry is really, what kind of soul does your church have? The author asked this question of many clergy and lay leaders from many Unitarian Universalist churches of different sizes and different parts of the country. He found the responses to be lyrical, poetic, and sometimes heartrending. Here's a small sample of some of the answers he heard. Yes, it is in the caring for others. This church has a little, wrinkled, raisin-like kernel of a soul, but with potential to do much more to save others. Yes, because there's a greater presence than self. Yes, but it's a candidate for life support. Yes, it is in the loving acceptance of one another. We have a wandering soul looking for meaning, well-intentioned, but not committed. This church has more tradition than soul. Yes, our soul is substance and core, constant as a beacon. What kind of soul does our fellowship have? What kind of soul do we have? The question as to what soul we have is challenging, but that's only reflective. I find more aspiration in asking, what kind of soul do we want to have? Now, if you consider the soul of our church as the collective and not of the individual, and if you consider the soul of our church as eternal, that is, our collective soul will exist after you and I are no longer alive, then what kind of soul do you want us to have? What kind of soul would you like to be here for those who visit us? What could we be for those seekers who are yearning to find a church with a soul that can transform their life? a soul that can give purpose and meaning to their existence, a soul that can be a place of comfort and challenge them in their joys and sorrows. What do you want our soul to be? I believe that a personal soul can be nurtured and can grow. A person's soul can evolve, expand, and enrich the self and others. As famous Unitarian minister A. Powell Davies said it this way: life is just a chance to grow a soul. And I believe that a church's soul can be nurtured, evolve, expand, and grow. A church's soul is not static unless it is starved and abandoned. If a church's soul is fed, it can grow, it can blossom, it can shine across generations. The feeding of a church's soul isn't totally about donating your time, but that's an important part. The feeding of a church's soul isn't totally about giving of your talents, but that's an important part. The feeding of a church's soul isn't totally about caring for each other, but that's an important part. The feeding of a church's soul isn't totally about being together for Sunday services, but that's an important part. The feeding of a church's soul isn't totally about donating your money, but that's an important part. A soul doesn't grow unless all its needs are nurtured. A church's soul doesn't grow unless all its needs are nurtured. How will we answer the needs of our church's soul? How will we live into our values? And how will this fellowship manifest those values? What kind of soul do you want our church to have? Will we make sure that our fellowship's needs are nurtured, cared for, and fed? The answer. The answer is in our hands. May we choose to act for the benefit of all those who are here and all those who will come after us. May it be so. Amen